All right, got a very quick lesson for you today. Going to work some more with radicals today, simplifying radicals, and also some using radicals within geometric measures like perimeter and area. Let's get right into it. So on these first two examples, we're being asked to find the perimeter and the area of the figures. Okay, so let's start off by doing perimeter of this rectangle here. So we're given that the side lengths are 3 times the square root of 3 and 2 times the square root of 3. So to find the perimeter, I'll do 3 times the square root of 3 plus 3 times the square root of 3 plus 2 times the square root of 3 plus 2 times the square root of 3. Okay, so that's just the four sides. The top and the bottom are both 3 times the square root of 3. The right side and the left side are both 2 times the square root of 3. Perimeter is just adding up all the sides. So we've actually done this once in a problem set. We haven't had it in a lesson, but when you add up radicals, you can add up radicals that have the same radical. So square root of 3, square root of 3, square root of 3, square root of 3. We have 3, 6, 8, 10 square root of 3s. And that's how we'll write our answer. 10 times the square root of 3 units. That's the perimeter. We're not going to go any further than that. We could turn that into a rounded decimal if we wanted to. Just multiply 10 by the square root of 3. But we're just going to leave it as exact. And this is the only way to leave it exact. Now as far as area of a rectangle is length times width, or base times height. So we'll do 3 times the square root of 3 times 2 times the square root of 3. Okay, so base is 3 times the square root of 3. Height, 2 times the square root of 3. And we'll multiply these numbers. Now, it's multiplication. We can do this in any order we want because multiplication is commutative. So let's do 3 times 2 first. 3 times 2 is 6. And then we can also do the square root of 3 times the square root of 3. And we know that the square root of 3 times the square root of 3 is just 3. And then we'll just do 6 times 3 is 18. So it's 18 square units. So one more time on that. 3 times 2 is 6. Square root of 3 times square root of 3 is 3. And 6 times 3 is 18. Okay, moving on to B, there is an added step here. I can't do the perimeter because I don't know the third side, but I do know two sides of a right triangle, so I can do the Pythagorean Theorem. So we'll do leg squared. Sorry, can't do the perimeter. I have to do Pythagorean Theorem first. Here we go. 2 squared plus square root of 5 squared is going to equal c squared. Okay, 2 squared is 4. Square root of 5 squared is 5. Add them together, you get 9. You take the square root, you get 3. So we got lucky here. It turned out to be a rational side length here, but the hypotenuse is 3. So now the perimeter. We'll do 3 plus 2 plus 5. I'm sorry, 3 plus 2 plus the square root of 5. Now, like I said, you can only add numbers that have the same square roots with them. So 3 and 2 we can add together, but we can't add the square root of 5 to that. So it's going to look kind of funny, but this is the way we have to leave our answer. 5 plus the square root of 5 units. And until we turn square root of 5 into a decimal, we're not going to be able to get any better than that. And from there, we'll go on with the area. Area of a triangle is 1/2 base times height. So we'll do 1/2 of the square root of 5 times the 2 for the height. Half of 2 is 1, so our area is just square root of 5 square units. Kind of goofy to leave things like this, but it's the only way to leave them exact. Kind of like leaving things in terms of pi, because pi cannot be written perfectly. Square root of 5 cannot be written perfectly. Square root of 3 cannot be written perfectly. So we have to leave our answers like this. So watch that part again. If you need to rewind, do it. Moving on, though. What is the perimeter and area with a square with these vertices? So they give us all 4 vertices of the square. So let's start off by plotting those. 2, 0, 0, 2, negative 2, 0, and 0, negative 2. And there's our square. And and they want us to find the perimeter and the area. Well, to find the perimeter and the area, I'm going to need to know the side lengths, which, you know, I can't just count, okay? However, I can look at this as a 2 by 2 right triangle. And then I could do Pythagorean Theorem to figure out that red side. 4 plus 4 is c squared. So 8 is c squared. Take the square root of both sides and you'll get the square root of 8. We will go a little bit further. Whenever we have a radical, we want to simplify it. On the last two examples, we couldn't simplify, but the square root of 8 can be simplified because the square root of 8 is divisible by 4, and 4 is a perfect square. So we'll make that square root of 4 times the square root of 2, which simplifies to 2 times the square root of 2. Okay, so as far as the area, we have 4 sides that are all 2 times the square root of 2. So we do 2 times the square root of 2 plus 2 times the square root of 2 plus 2 times the square root of 2 plus 2 times the square root of 2, or we just go 4 times 2 times the square root of 2, which is what I'm going to do. 4 sides that are all 2 times the square root of 2 means that the perimeter is 8 times the square root of 2 units. That's our perimeter. Area is actually a little bit easier. It is a square, so the base and height are both the same thing. So I'll do base 2 times the square root of 2 and height 2 times the square root of 2, which is 2 times the square root of 2 squared. Okay, 2 squared is 4. That's where the 4 came from. Square root of 2 squared is 2. Square root of 2 times the square root of 2 is 2. And then we'll just simplify that by doing 4 times 2 is 8. So 2 times 2 is 4. Square root of 2 times square root of 2 is 2. 4 times 2 is 8. So the area is 8 square units. Again, rewatch if needed. And lastly, what is the perimeter and area of this square? So it's basically the same problem, maybe a little bit tougher here, but it's already graphed for us, so we just need to figure out the side lengths. They tell us it's a square, so I'll make a right triangle there. It's 2 by 1, and I'll figure out the other side. So 1 squared plus 2 squared is c squared. So 1 plus 4 is c squared. We end up with 5 being c squared, so c is the square root of 5. Now, once I know that I've got the one side is the square root of 5, all 4 sides added together, square root of 5 plus square root of 5 plus square root of 5 plus square root of 5, that would be 4 times the square root of 5. And that can't be simplified. So 4 times the square root of 5 is the perimeter. Got 4 sides that are all square root of 5. That's 4 times the square root of 5. Okay, and then as far as area, we'll do the square root of 5 squared, base times height. They're both the same thing, and we get 5 square units. All right, that's all I've got for you today. Short lesson as far as examples. If you need to go back and rewatch anything, then take the 8 minutes and 45 seconds to do so. If not, I'll see you tomorrow. Have a great night.